want to live close to downtown. They want to spend a lot of time in the office. They like coming in on the weekends. They make a good amount of money, but they work hard for it. It's interesting because even though a lot of Chicagoans view the people in this neighborhood as traditionally transplants, people not from Chicago, they all have that very Chicago work ethic. And just to give you a little picture of how much it's changed, take a look at that nice old postcard up there and that nice little railway station. That's the old Central Station. And one of the biggest elements in the South Loop is a Central Station development that's been going on for the past 20 years. You see a little tiny 5-story train station, you might recognize it from North by Northwest. And now right next to it you can see 60-story beautiful condo residential buildings, tactical buildings, lots of money, not so many trains anymore, they just go right by the park. So let's take a look at here. I really like the monetary forces involved here. There's a lot of clout, a lot of things really involved here. And the ward mapping here goes along with it. They're all trying to get as much money as they can to get their streets paved. If you take a look at where all the zonings are, you have some poor people here, you have the medical here, okay, we want that. You have the doctors over here, they're like, okay, we want that. Oh man, those railroad trains and factories over there that haven't been used in 50 years, we don't want that in our district. Some more doctors, you got the University Village in the West Loop over here, more money, they want that in their district. You have all this beautiful development in their land there. You have McPier, you have Brick Center, you have the medical district, all this money is flowing right in. So let's talk a little bit about the former history. Now it is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Chicago when you're talking about just the location and the land itself. It was, probably most known historically for all of the millionaires, the Marshall Fields, the Pullmans, the Blesner House, of course, down there. Very rich families just after the fire in that period going down there, building very beautiful old mansions, very large, very stately, people building, their own castles down there, very close to downtown. A very similar mindset to the people who are living there now. But things kind of changed as people moved out to the suburbs and white flight happened and all these little things that just kind of dwindled the neighborhood down to a shell of its former glory. Kind of ironic that Motor Row is there and everybody, first place in Chicago you could go to buy a car and everybody bought the car and moved out to the suburbs, leaving the neighborhood completely vacant. Now those Motor Row shops are all closed down. But one little interesting thing about that area on Motor Row is that that's one of, if you go back to the 1920s and 30s, that was actually one of the best places to go for blues and jazz in the world. 2120 South Michigan Avenue. Let's see, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Muddy Waters, all those guys recorded there. The Rolling Stones, of course, recorded 2120 South Michigan Avenue, great instrumental track. They recorded it there in honor of all these great guys. And you can see a nice little thing about it there. Red Light District, part of this was known as the Levee. A lot of brothels, a lot of speakeasies during Prohibition. In fact, one of the great things about the great tradition of clout in this neighborhood is that Al Capone actually got the coal tunnels that were downtown. They run all the way down, I think it was Wabash, all the way down to the row of speakeasies down there, just so they could get all the alcohol flowing to their great blues and jazz clubs. So, but that of course was the 20s and it was all downhill from there and everybody emptied out. And by the 90s it was ready for some more revitalization, some more cash, some more stimulus, and some of these newer Marshall Fields and, our doctors and lawyers of today. And that all started with, of course, here and Central Station. But let's take a look at the people who are moving in here. It's a lot more high-end than a lot of the other neighborhoods that we're looking at. You can see the average income is $70,000. Half the people are married, other people are probably divorced, so they all have kids. It's not you can see the college degree rates are a lot higher. You can see that most of the people are in private schools because they can afford it. And you can see, look at that nice little bit down there. 3/5 of the housing in the area was built before after 1990. Like I said, everything's brand new and everything else is just being renovated. And take a look at that nice little bit up there, 20% of the residents born outside the United States. A lot of very well-educated people from around the world moving in here. They want to work hard. They want to be close to downtown. It's very diverse but educated and money group. So let's see our sites here. You can see the 3 yellow squares. So you can see that they are absolutely tiny compared to what we're building around. You have 60, 40, 20-story mixed-use towers. You have a couple of office buildings from a Q and those around there. And we're going to be fitting in these tiny little 3, 4-story residential and retail buildings in there. You can see that Wabash is pretty vacant. I'm going to be talking about that in a bit. And then you have Michigan, which is almost entirely retail. It's much more, or at least on the ground floor, with some nice towers there. It's very modern, very developed. And then you have the house on Prairie Avenue, and that is completely different than the other two. It feels like you're in the 1890s when you're over there, even though some of the row houses are brand new. Has a much different feel. So you're looking at a very diverse set of emotions when you're just walking down the street looking at these different sites. So visually, let's take a look at this. You see those orange ones on the left? That's the one on the corner I was talking about on Wabash. Now, I was there the other day, and I can tell you I am one of the best boosters of Chicago. I love this city so much, but that's the most vapid and disturbingly boring corner I've ever seen in any city. Where I was disturbed by how boring it was. There's nothing there. It's just gross. But, like I said, this neighborhood's changing. That's an empty space today. But it's right down the street from where the Green Line station's going to be for the new expansion of the McCormick Place and the DePaul Arena. And all the way from Reggie's up north, you're going to start to see more bars, more restaurants, more development. And of course, that same retail follows south on Wabash from Roosevelt. So when you go by in 5, 10 years, you're going to be seeing plenty of lattes and dry cleaners on that corner. It'll be much nicer. And then you can see Michigan Avenue in the purple there. Like I said, a lot more taller towers. Very nice places for young yuppies to go get a nice starter pad and not starter, mid-career before you really settle down. That sort of thing. But take a look, that's where you end up on the right. That's the goal. The row homes in your own private 3, 4 bedroom townhomes. Lots of parks over on the third site. You have the Clark House Park, you have a dog park, you got another little playground over in the corner. There's lots of trees. Everything feels very quiet and subdued, even though you are right in the middle of the city. So you have 3 entirely different conditions here. Just, 600, 700 feet apart. Quite something. You can see what I said about the touch feel of Wabash Avenue. We put the tree in there just to make it look like something you could look at. You don't want to go there yet. But the Michigan Avenue, you can see clean, modern. Needs to be very happy to walk down that street today. Prairie Avenue, very beautiful homes. You have the Glesner House there. Please go see the Glesner House. It's absolutely beautiful row nest. So you get a very different central experience when you're there at all of these different sites. It doesn't feel like the same city. So let's talk about these guys who are doing all of this. Let's talk about Gerald Fogelson. This guy is one of the biggest developers in Chicago, and he has coordinated 3 companies together. Of course, the Fogelson Group. You also have, I'll talk about the other ones too. But this guy has been the main coordinator from the Chicago. You have one other group that works around Chicago and in other cities, and the other one that is international and nationally based. And they're based out of Cleveland. These 3 groups together, they get financing in different ways and use political clout in different ways to basically get billions of dollars flowing into this neighborhood. And very envious of his job position, that's for sure.